Hello? Hello? Good morning. So, welcome to your home practice. And today we are going to do about 30 minutes of a beginner's flow. So, I have had students come to me that have said that it's really hard for them to go to an in-studio practice because they either feel like they're not ready for yoga yet, or they're not comfortable with not knowing the words, the terms that teachers use. So this morning, we're just going to start with kind of a beginner's flow of how I would be teaching my class, and starting with that beginner's concept that we are going to focus on Warrior One as our step one into our beginner's flow class this morning. So you can start with a comfortable seated position. If you have any sort of lower back issues, I really recommend sitting on a blanket or blocks. If you're at home, again, knowing that you can use pillows, anything that kind of lift your seat to support that lower back and relax the knees down towards the earth. The eyes can be opened or closed with the hands rested on top of the thighs or knees, possibly with that thumb and first finger touching. We'll begin our class this morning with 3 ohms to center and ground. Starting with a complete breath, taking an inhale and an exhale, and an inhale again. And keeping your eyes closed, you can allow your attention to come to your physical body. Initially, Just exploring where the sit bones meet support onto your mat. Noticing if one side is a little more lifted or lower than the other, and know that you can reposition to find your most comfortable seat this morning. Allowing the thighs and the knees to relax down towards the earth. You can allow that awareness to shift and grow towards the spine. Beginning at the base and allowing that awareness to travel upwards. As you notice the lower back, where the shoulder blades begin to come together to lift the heart forward. A relaxing of the shoulders and the ears. A softening of the jaw and the eyes. As the crown of the head gently lifts and opens towards the sky. From this seat of dynamic stillness, you can allow your attention to come to the breath. Just noticing your natural inhale and exhale as the breath enters and leaves the nose. Allowing that breath to release on the exhale and expand on the inhale. That lower belly expands on the inhale. Gentle release, contract on the exhale. From the seat of awareness with the breath and the body, you can take this time to set an intention for your practice this morning. So there is just a lot, wherever you may be, of how you're showing up this morning. And knowing that you can either take this time to maybe invite that voice, that softness, and to decide what maybe characteristic that you're willing to work on. Or maybe it's a letting go. Letting go of something that you no longer need in your practice, in your life. So whatever that might be, you may gently blink the eyes open, and we're going to roll over on into child's pose. So sending that seat towards the feet, the forehead towards the floor. Knowing that if the forehead isn't quite there, that you can use your forearms or your fists to bring the floor up to you. The knees can either be close together or further apart, depending on how you want to get in your hips and how it might feel in the lower back. Taking this time to reconnect to the breath. On the next inhale, slowly rise up to all fours. Spreading the fingers wide and then shifting the knees so that they come more underneath of the hips. Gently releasing the belly down towards the earth. As we breathe into cow pose, knowing that the eyes could be open or closed, a gentle tuck of the tail, arch of the back, tuck of the chin. Inhale, release the belly, gazing forward into cow. Exhale, tuck the tail, arch the back, tuck the chin into cat. Inhale, release the tail, the belly, breathing forward into cow. Pausing, returning back to neutral tabletop position. Exhaling, hips to heels, child's pose. Inhale, rise all fours. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, rise all fours. Exhale, pause, bring the feet about as wide as the mat if possible. Curling the toes, lifting the knees, the hips to the sky for that first down dog. For that first down dog, I would recommend that you take your feet about as wide as your mat, your hands as wide as the mat. Also, a little bend in the knees. Real life. Exhaling, child's pose. Inhale, rise all fours. Exhale, curl the toes, lift the knees, down dog. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, rise all fours. Exhale, down dog. This time, inhaling forward to plank, the top of that push-up position, knowing that you're creating space between the shoulder blades. Those knees could be bent a little. Sending the heels to the back of the room, engaging the thighs, the legs. The crown more forward, in line with the heart. Exhaling, bringing the knees to the earth, bending the elbows, coming all the way down to the mat, relaxing the thighs. Sliding the hands forward, nice and slow, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe gazing forward and then exhaling, returning back to the earth. Curling the toes, drawing those hands back underneath of the shoulders, elbows back, pressing into the palms. Exhaling, down dog. Now moving towards our warrior one, we'll inhale the right leg high to the sky. And we rotate the ankle. And let that all release. Roll the opposite direction. Stepping the foot behind the right wrist or thumb. If you look to your back leg, we're going to bring the heel down. So when you bring the heel down, the ball of the foot's going to spin. I'm going to make it a little bit wider, so make it more towards the outside edge of my mat. If you could imagine that there is a clock around that back foot, an analog clock, that the big toe is about where like 10 or 11 would be. That front knee, 90 degrees or less. Now, I'm not going to say if it's over the ankle or behind the ankle, but find what works for you. If you have knee issues, that's where you probably don't want to go over. But I'm not so worried about alignment as I am worried about you trusting what feels good. And then we're going to take that right hip and draw it under, left hip more forward. So from this space, engaging the inner thighs. Your hands, now if you're in a class, typically go right to stand, but I'm going to recommend first bringing them to your thigh so you've got some good balance there. And then inhaling the left hand high and then the right. So warrior one. From here, you can bring your arms into cactus arms, as I like to call them. Other people call them the same too. Cactus arms. Warrior one. So you can think about that back pinky toe maybe touching, maybe not. Again, that front knee, nice and relaxed. I'm going to bring my hands up high. Now I keep my hands, my legs pretty wide onto the mat. Inhaling the hands high. Exhaling, coming back down to the mat. Going to come to the ball of the back foot. From here, I'm going to step back into plank. Bring my feet back together. So, a great place to know whether you want to move through a vinyasa of your liking. This morning, I'm just going to make it simple. Come to the knees, bend the elbows, come all the way to the earth. Inhaling, lifting the head, the heart. Maybe this time, we're just not even going to press into the hands. Little baby cobra. Exhaling, coming back down, curling the toes, pressing back to down dog pose. Maybe closing the eyes and taking a handful of breaths. As you notice the length of the spine grow. Knowing it's okay that the heels, if they don't touch, our goal is really to have a more length in the spine. With each inhale, we feel that expansion, the support of the hands and the feet. With each exhale, a release. From here, inhaling the left leg high this time. Again, maybe rotating the ankle. Working in one direction and the opposite, and then stepping that foot behind the left wrist or thumb. This time, again, spinning, so the heel comes down, and I'm going to take my foot wide, more towards the outside edge of the mat. Again, if you were to have a clock around that back foot, this time the toes would be about at 1 or 2. The heel would be like that center of the clock. This time kind of drawing that left hip back, right hip more forward. Engaging the inner thighs, bringing that left hand to the thigh, and then inhaling the right high, left high. And knowing those hands can be, again, straight up to the sky, or maybe cobra or cactus arms. Really kind of feeling into the hips, noticing the space. When you first get started on your mat, you're really figuring out where you are in space on your mat. We do that as kids. It's part of playing. So playing on our mat too, inhaling the hands high, exhaling the hands back down to the mat, coming to the ball of the back foot, stepping back to plank. Finding that base, then bringing the knees down, bending the elbows, coming all the way to the earth. Inhaling, finding your lift. So maybe it's here, baby cobra, possibly bringing the hands a little more forward, a little bit more lift in the heart. Exhaling, coming all the way back down, curling the toes, pressing back to down dog pose. We'll go through that flow one more time, a little bit quicker. Inhaling the right leg high. Exhaling, stepping the foot behind the wrist or thumb. Back heel to the mat, reposition. Maybe, again, play with the space or the hips in this space. Find a circle. Maybe it's a shifting. Drawing that right hip back, left hip a little more forward. Inhaling the hands high to the sky. Relaxing the shoulders. Tapping into what you could let go of. Maybe it's a release in the jaw or the fingertips. Maybe there's a tightness somewhere in the body or the mind. Feeling the beat of the heart, the expansion of the energy on the inhale, the release on the exhale, hands back down to the mat. Coming back to plank pose. Exhaling, coming down to the earth at your speed, your pace. Inhaling, rising, finding your lift. Exhaling, curling the toes back to down dog pose. That reconnection to breath and body as you inhale the left leg high. Exhaling, stepping the foot behind the left wrist or thumb. Back heel to the mat. Reposition to find your space. Again, maybe a shifting of the weight of the hips. Finding where you are in space and what feels good as you draw that left hip back, right hip a little more forward. Inhale the hands high to the sky. Relax the shoulders, relax the heart. Relax the elbows. Inhale the hands high. Exhale the hands back down to the mat. Step back to down dog. I'm sorry, step back to plank. Real life, right? Exhaling, bringing the knees down to the earth, bending the elbows, coming all the way to the mat. Inhale, lift the head, the heart, roll those shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, curl the toes, press back to down dog pose. Inhale to all fours. Exhale, child's pose. Taking this time to release and relax, maybe fingertips up to the sky, relax the forehead down to the earth. And inhale through the nose and exhale from the mouth. Releasing the hands, walking them back to the knees as you press to find lift. Nice job. From this space that we will gently shift the weight of the hips to one side. Feet in front of us. I'm going to send the hips to the heels as we do a little bit of back bend work in the opposite direction. So coming all the way onto the back, nice and slow. Oh, that feels good. Walking the heels towards the hips. From this space, so if you have any back issues, again, keeping those feet really wide. This could be the place that you want to hang out, the best space for you right now. If you want to find a little more arch in the body, let's go ahead and start by, we're going to bring the fingertips up to the sky. What you do, play around with pressing into the elbows. So when you press into the elbows, it starts to lift up that chest and arch. Pressing into the feet. We're going to bring the hands back down, pressing into the feet as you gently lift up. Mailman might be here. It's hard to say, right? Exhale, gently coming all the way back down to the earth. Press into the feet and gently lift the belly, coming more towards those shoulder blades. Gently coming back down, rolling along the spine to the tailbone. Inhale, press into the feet. Right. Yep. Inhale. Going ahead, lift the belly. We've got lots of visitors this morning, huh? Gently rolling back down. If you feel like you can go a little bit deeper and maybe walk the hands towards the heels and find a little lift there. Shoulder blades. I'm just going nice and gentle this morning. Coming all the way back down. Nice. From here, I'm going to just hug the knees into the chest. A gentle rock of the lower back from side to side. From this space, sending the feet up to the sky. And taking this time to, again, maybe roll the ankles, roll the wrists. Nice and slow, bending the knees. This time bringing that left foot down, right foot back up high, crossing the right ankle over that left knee. We're going to interlace the hands through the thigh and hug that left leg back in. So this is our lying pigeon. There's the technical terms for it, but we're just keeping it simple this morning. So maybe you might feel a little stretch in that hip. If this is too much, know that staying right here, this first space, is a great place to be. Again, hugging the leg back into the body if it feels good. Maybe you want to just flow with that. And then I'm going to take that right leg and I'm going to cross it over the knee. Hug those knees, the legs. I'm going to hold on to my ankles and hug in a little bit more. A little more stretch in the outside of that hip. As I open the arms wide, cactus arms. That left foot is down. I'm going to press into the left foot, shift the weight of the hips to the right. The knees fall to the left. Gaze up to the sky or over to the right. A letting go as you breathe into the lower back. Gently unwinding, knees back to the center, unwinding the feet, shifting the weight of the hips so it's equal onto the mat. So that sacrum is nice and balanced, even, comfortable. From here, taking that left foot up to the sky, left ankle to right knee. Again, a great first place to be is maybe just hanging out here as you feel the stretch into the open hip. If it feels like you want to go a little bit further, know that you can pick up that leg and hug the leg into the body. Maybe the back of the thigh or even that shin. Breathing into the outside of the hip or wherever you may feel it. Again, that knowing that it's your practice, it's your home practice, especially if it's too much, let off. If you want to flow between the floor and the body, just that rocking back and forth, feel free to do that too. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that left knee, cross it over, hug the legs into the body. So I'm going to slide my hands down to the ankles and hug in. From here, bringing the right foot to the mat. Maybe my arms are out to those cactus arms, shifting the weight of the hips to the left, knees to the right. Gaze up to the sky or the place of comfort, left or right. Breathing into the lower back, upper back. Oh, excuse me. Little sneeze makes a person laugh. You know, it's a reminder that being in a studio space right now, like how would that make a person feel? Teacher, student, just something to consider. Or when we're out in the grocery store or in a store, what are the things that come into your mind? Coughing, sneezing, things that probably we never, for many of us, might have noticed but didn't think about. Something to think, consider. How do you make peace with those feelings, those thoughts that come to you? Again, just something to consider. From here, going ahead, bringing the knees back up, unwinding the feet, shifting the weight of the hips. From this space, bringing the hands down and straightening the legs onto the mat or the floor. So if you have a bolster, blanket, if you want to cover up as we move into Shavasana, feel free. You can, again, reposition the feet, the lower back, exploring the entire back body as you relax down into the earth. Explore the front body as it lightens and lifts towards the sky. Softening the eyes and allowing them to feel heavy in the back of the head and relaxing of the jaw. The shoulders and arms, the entire back. Heart, belly, hips, thighs, knees. Your legs completely relaxed. From the soles of the feet to the crown of the head and all the space around you. Completely relaxed. And very gently, we can begin to return, initially exploring where you meet the earth, starting to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Gentle movement of the head, taking a bend in the knees, and rolling to your most comfortable side as you pause in fetal position. From this space, sending yourself a thank you for showing up to your mat, practice into yourself. A gentle press into that hand to come to lift. Coming back to a comfortable seated position and closing your eyes. May you be happy and free. May you be safe and well. May you feel loving and loved. Om Shanti. Peace. Have a wonderful Saturday. Look forward to seeing you again next time. Blessings to all.